Namastu Paragurubhyo Namastu Sarvagurubhyo Namaha. Sri Ranganath Shirgopaitimra Vishtam Lakshmi Nrsimha Sharit Karuneka Patram Sri Rangavira Raghurat Shirgop Sujjam Vedanta Deshigiri Namaha Prabhajye Srimate Sivan Shirgopasi Vedanta Deshigiri Namaha Deshigaya Namaha Prapajye Indravajjanam Shibjam Punisapadam Sharanam Bhavavitanam Shirgopavinishwaram Lakshmi Nathasamarambraham Nathiyamana Machamam Swadachari Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Yonichamachaparam Vijaymurakmavyammohatastharitarani Punayam Mene Asmad Guru Bhagavato Sindho Ramanujasya Charanam Sharanam Prapajye Mata Pita Yutayastamya Bhuje Sarvam Yedevini Namadanmayanam Adyasya Kulapariyamakalaviramam Srimatadengudayam Bhavanamurtna Bhutam Sharashivadakhe Bhattanatha Sribhaktisarakulasekhara Yogivahani Bhakta Rena Parakaridna Mishram Srimat Purankushamim Pranato Vaspinicham Srimate Nigamantamaha Deshikaya Namaha Ramanujaya Patram Jnana Vairagya Bhushanam Srimadvenkatanadharyam Vande Vedanta Deshikam Sriman Venkatanadarya Kavidartika Kesari Vedantacharya Varyomi Sannidhattam Sadahridim Sri Vishwamitra Gotra Bhushanaihi Ananta Kalyana Gunakaraihi Sri Rangaraya Divyajna Labdha Vedantacharya Padaihi Kavitarpika Simha iti Prakhyate Gunasamakhyaihi Sarvatantra Swatantraihi Srimad Venkatanathaaryaihi Sriman Narayana Sakal Loko Jivanaya Anugrhitam Sri Ranganatha Paaduka Sahasram. The beauty is Sakala Loko Jivanaya.
We chant Acharyaji. Please unmute everyone. Vedanta Desika Bhavja Bhangam Narayana Kupabhishaktam Sri Ranganatha Labdhabodham SriKrishnaDesika Trupatye Srimate SriKrishnaDesika Namaha Deshika Nama Asmad Gurubhyo Nama Asmad Padma Gurubhyo Nama Asmad Sarva Gurubhyo Nama Sriman
Narayana. So yesterday we have seen Paaduka Devi is there sitting on the throne, Simhasanam, the Raghuvamsha Simhasanam, with the people doing Vinjamara Seva, fanning her on either side. And Mahatma Deshika describes, "Hey Paaduka Devi, you are looking like a fully bloomed lotus flower in the swift flowing river Ganga, with the two beautiful swans on either side of the lotus flower, engaged in their sportive activities, and that too in the valleys of the golden Meru mountain." They did every upacharam to Paaduka Devi. Just as the king is there sitting on the throne, the servants will be there fanning the king, holding the umbrella, etc. All those courtesies are extended to Paaduka Devi also. They did not consider Paaduka Devi, oh, just Paadukas, why all these upacharams? No. Paaduka Devi sitting is exactly like a Maharaja sitting on the Simhasanam. So they did all upacharams to Paaduka Devi as though a real king is there sitting on the Simhasanam. It is not Bharata kept the Padukas there on the Simhasanam namesake, but he is the one who is enjoying all the power. No. Even when foreign dignitaries used to come, they were all reporting, like the ambassadors reporting to the king. They were reporting everything only to the Paduka Devi. Bharata accepted all their requests on behalf of Paaduka Devi. Now in the next verse, Mahatma Desika, we are now doing the 6th chapter, 9th verse. मान्ये रघुद्वः पदे मणिपादुके त्वं विन्यस्य विग्रहवतीमिव राज्यलक्ष्मीम् आलोलमक्षवलयी भरतो जतावान् आलम्य चामरम् अनन्यमनाः सिषेवे. Mahatma Desika addresses most often Paduka Devi as Mani Paduke. The Padukas that are there studded with precious diamonds in them. Bharata, the one who is supposed to be the king, renounced everything. Just like Rama matted his hair and is living like a vanaprastha. Only difference, Rama is living in the forest, practicing as a vanaprastha. Bharata is living at Nandigrama, practicing the same vanaprastha ashrama. So Bharata with his matted hair and always chanting the glories of Rama. On his rosary beads, chanting beads. In fact, Bharata himself is fanning you, Paduka Devi, with a focused mind, focused only on you who is sitting on the royal throne. How are you looking? Like personified Rajya Lakshmi, goddess of the empire. Bharata felt Rama may be in the forest, but you as his representative, as Rajya Lakshmi, you are there sitting on the Simhasanam. Rajya Lakshmi. Rajya Lakshmi. All prosperity in the kingdom is due to Mahalakshmi. So Bharata felt instead of Rama, Rajya Lakshmi herself is sitting on the throne. Vigrahavatim iva Rajya Lakshmi. Bharato Jatavan. In every word Mahatma Desika glorifies Bharata. He can be a normal person. There is no need for Bharata. There is no need for Bharata to mat his hair. There is no need for Bharata to sleep on the floor. He can simply rule the kingdom, making Paduka sitting on the throne, but live a normal life. But Bharata wanted, if my Rama is there living like a vanaprastha in the forest, I will also live exactly like my Rama. Paratantram at a very high level. As Bharata would have done Chamara Seva to Sri Rama if he is sitting on the throne. Bharata is doing the same upacharam to Paaduka Devi also. It looks as though Sri Mahalakshmi Sri Mahalakshmi as Rajya Lakshmi is sitting on the throne. Very difficult for us to imagine. Very difficult for us to imagine. Will anybody in the present days be like Bharata, renouncing the kingdom that he got? Not only renouncing the kingdom, behaving like a vanaprastha, beyond our imagination. There was no need for Bharata even to go to the forest to bring Rama back. There was no need for Bharata to say, I will also stay in the forest. There is no need for Bharata to say, I will remain like a vanaprastha. True Paratantra means, true Paratantram will renounce all comforts. And that's what Bharata did. And as far as Bhagavan Sri Ramachandra, even though he is there in the Grihastha followed completely the dharmas of Vanaprastha, which nobody would have even imagined that Bhagavan will be following to that extent. And that we see in the next verse. Prapte divam dasharathe bharate vilakshe paryakuleshu bhusham uttarakosaleshu tvam che upekshitavati ka iva bhavishyat Gopayitum guha sakasya vibhoho padam tat. So Mahatma Desika got another great opportunity to glorify the Padukas. Now he is putting it in a different context, in a different perspective. Hey Paduka Devi, Dasharatha, unable to bear the separation from his son Rama, who was forced to go to the forest for no fault of his for 14 years, attained heavens just within 6 days after Rama's departure. And Bharata, Vilakshe, is completely in a dejected mood, depressed mood, not at all interested in coronation or anything. He is not at all interested that now that Dasharatha is gone, Rama in the forest, who will take care of the kingdom? Bharata's only reply, that's none of my business. That's not my headache. I am only a servant of Rama. So Bharata was there completely in a different mode. He is not interested in coronation. He is not interested in taking care of Kosala kingdom. And the people of Ayodhya, Uttara Kosala, were completely in distress because Sri Rama left for the 14 years of Vanavasam. If Paaduka Devi did not come forward, who else is there to take care of the place Ayodhya of Sri Rama? Ayodhya is still considered Sri Rama's place. So had it not been for Paaduka Devi, who would have come to the rescue of the innocent people of Ayodhya? Now, can any one of you make out why here Rama is addressed as Guha's friend? Emma, can any one of you think of why Rama is addressed here as Guha's friend?
Uh,
Any one of you?
Acharya, because after when Rama was about to stay at Bharadwaja's place, he asked Hanuman to meet Guha, and he said, "Mama Atma Sakha." Sri Rama mentioned to Hanuman, "He is my Atma Sakha, and he is the fifth brother of me."
Right. That's one way of looking at it, Amma. What I learned was Bharata may be the king. Bharata may be the king. But the minute Guha saw Bharata coming with a huge army, Guha's first reaction is Bharata coming to fight with Rama. Why should Bharata come with such a huge army? Guha gave instructions to his people. You people get ready, get all the boats ready, because these people, we have to help them to cross the river Ganga. I will find out if Bharata's intentions are not genuine. By any chance, if Bharata feels that he is coming here to fight with Rama and keep the kingdom for him permanently, standard instructions while we are crossing the river Ganga, in the middle of it, tilt the boats that everybody be drowned. Bharata himself directly asked, sorry, Guha himself directly asked Bharata. Their affection for Rama is beyond our words. Will anybody be dare ask Bharata who is the king now? Because they all knew Dasharatha, they all knew Rama left to the forest, and now Bharata is there supposed to be the king. Still, Guha asked, Bharata, may I know something is wrong here? You are coming here with such a huge army. He is looking very, very incoherent with the situation. What are your intentions? Just a very, very small, petty officer compared to Bharata. Guha is asking this question directly. Bharadwaja Maharshi asked similar question to Bharata. That's why Rama is called as Guha Sakha. They are all willing to give their own lives for the sake of Rama. That we should learn from them. When we say at the time of Sharanagati, Mam Madiyancha Nikhilam Chetana Achetanatmakam Swatankaryopakaranam Varada Srikuru Swayam. They are willing to sacrifice their everything for the sake of Bhagavan Sri Ramachandra. That is what is called as the highest level of Bharatantra. Now, Bhratur Yadamba Virahat Bharate Vishanne Dakshinyamashritavati Manipaduke Tvam Asita Jagatam Shravanamrutam Tate Vajalakahalasaham Virudam Tadate. Hey, Mother Paaduka Devi, Bharata was extremely in a dejected mood. There are many reasons that contributed to the dejection of Bharata. One, Rama was sent to the forest. Two, Rama's Pattabhishekam was stopped. Three, Dasharatha passed away. Four, Kaikeyi got such a bad name to Bharata that Kaikeyi did all these things for the sake of Bharata. Five, people are just hating Bharata. Because of this fellow, our Rama had to go to the forest. Because of this fellow, our Rama had to go to the forest. Bharata could not even face the public accusation. That's why at one point even Rama laments. Bharata, instead of going to the river Sarayu for his morning bathing and other anushtanams, at the usual time of Brahma Muhurtam, because people are there talking so bad about him, in the middle of the night itself, Bharata will go when nobody is around to take his early morning bath in Sarayu and will rush back. That is Bharata. So Bharata was so depressed because his first and the foremost thing, he is separated from Rama. For 12 years he was away from Rama in his maternal uncle's place. Now when he came, thinking that his father might have planned either a Ashwamedha Yagam or Rama's Pattabhishekam, so he came in all great haste and high hopes. But to his great surprise he found Rama was sent to the forest and Dasharatha attained heavens. So Paaduka Devi, you are the one who is so kind to Bharata, and you came with him to Ayodhya. As we can see from the blaring sounds of the trumpets at the time of Paaduka Devi's coronation, which was actually like a true tribute, a fitting tribute to Paaduka Devi or to the Daya Gunam of Paaduka Devi. Rama Viyogam is unbearable for Bharata. The greatness of Rama, the minute Rama said he is going to the forest, look at the people. Kausalya said, Rama, how can I live without you? Take me also to the forest. Look at Sita Devi, how can I live without you? I'll be going ahead of you. Lakshmana, how can you go without me? I will take care of you when you are awake or even when you are sleeping. Everyone. Now Bharata. Before Bharata, the entire population of Ayodhya, entire population of Ayodhya. That is the greatness of Rama. And Paaduka Devi was so kind to Bharata and agreed to come with Bharata to Ayodhya. And when Paaduka Devi's Pattabhishekam was done, the trumpets were there sounded at a very high pitch. Paaduka Pattabhishekam time, people were just blaring the trumpets like the great tribute for all the sacrifice Paaduka Devi made in leaving Rama's feet and coming to the rescue of the people of Ayodhya. Every one of them had unimaginable affection for Rama. Whomsoever could walk with Rama, walked with Rama for the first day. And Rama tricked them and left before dawn the next day. They had no choice but to come back to Ayodhya. But their depression nobody could take away. And the only person who could get them out of their depression was Paaduka Devi. That is why people were so happy to celebrate the coronation of Paaduka Devi. At one point you will see Mahatma Desika saying, they were beating the trumpets in such a high pitch. The trumpets that are there beaten in Ayodhya could be heard all the way in Sri Lanka and shake the foundations of Ayodhya. Sorry, shake the foundations of Sri Lanka. The trumpets that are there beaten in Ayodhya could be heard all the way in Sri Lanka. Many examples Mahatma Desika gives. The water that is there used for the Abhishekam of Paaduka Devi, Patabhishekam, was looking like the torrential downpour of tears from the ladies of Ravana in Sri Lanka. Everyone was afraid to tell Ravana. But the minute Sita Devi was brought to Lanka, everybody knew, including Mandodari. Now, the ruin of Lanka has started. They knew it was just a matter of a few days when Rama will come and wipe out all the Rakshasas. They knew. That's why they say, if a king is bad, he will not only ruin himself, he will ruin the whole country. And if the king is good, the entire country is good. Entire country prospers. And that happened during the reign of Paaduka Devi, which you heard many times. Rajyam tada dasharathat anuramata pra vibhranaya charana rakshini vitakedam tulyadhikara bhajanena babhuva dhanyo vamshasya vamshasvayamba manuvamsha mahipatinam. Vamshaha tvaya amba manuvamsha mahipatinam. Amba means mother. Rajyam tada dasharathat anuramataha prak. Hey Mother Paaduka Devi, after Dasharatha, it should be Sri Rama who should have been coronated. But things took such an unexpected turn that finally Paaduka Devi got coronated before Sri Rama. And Paaduka Devi ruled Ayodhya without any sorrow, any difficulty for anyone. And the unquestioned rulership of Ayodhya enhanced the name and the fame of the royal dynasty of Vaivasvata Manu, Surya Vamsham. How did the Surya Vamsham come? Anyone of you can recollect them? Yama, can anyone of you recollect how did the Surya Vamsham come? You know it, Amma. You are not able to recollect, that's all. Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, Imam vivasvate yogam
योगं
proktavanham avyayam
प्रोक्तवानहमव्ययं विवस्वान् मनवे प्राह
vivasvan manave
मनुरिक्ष्वाकवे ब्रवीत्.
praha manurikshvaka vibravit. Vivasvan is Surya. Lord Krishna says, I told this Bhagavad Gita, this Dharma Shastram, millions of years back to Surya, sun god. He gave it to his son, Vaivasvata Manu. Surya's son is Vaivasvata Manu. Vivasvan Manave Prahaha. Surya conveyed the Dharma Shastram Bhagavad Gita to his son Vaivasvata Manu. Manuho Ikshvaka Vibravit. That Vaivasvata Manu conveyed this message of Bhagavad Gita to his son Ikshvaku. Ikshvaku is the great grandfather of Lord Rama. That's how the Surya Vamsham started. So, even though there are many kings, many great kings in the Raghuvamsham, Surya Vamsham, still Mahatma Deshika gives extra credit to Paaduka Devi that the unquestioned rulership of Ayodhya enhanced the name and fame of the royal dynasty of Vaivasvata Manu. The entire Surya Vamsham got the appreciation, got the greatness, all because of Paaduka Devi. Now, another beautiful verse here. Varshanitani vrishalo na tapamsi tepe balo na kaschidapi mrityu vasham jagama rajye tavamba raghupunga vapada rakshe naiva param patividheyam abhut prasaktam. Rajye tava amba raghupungava padarakshe. Hey Mother Paaduka Devi, during your rule of 14 years of Ayodhya, no unqualified person ever resorted to doing penance, which is a violation of Varnashrama Dharma. This has reference to after Paaduka Devi's rule, Lord Rama became the king and was ruling the country. But still there was some adharmam going on. A person without a proper yajnapavita samskaram had resorted to the meditative practices of the Dvijatas. Whereas during Paaduka Devi's rule, no such thing ever happened. no unqualified person, anupanitas, ever resorted to doing penance. That means no violation of varnashrama dharmas during Paaduka Devi's rule. And no child ever died before the parents while the parents are still alive. Because these two incidents of an unqualified person resorting to penance and a child dying while the parents are still alive happened during Sri Rama's rule, but not during Paaduka's rule. That's why people preferred Paaduka's rule over Rama's rule. Not only that, none of the established protocols were ever violated. Look at the rule of Dasharatha. He might have ruled for 60,000 years. But look at the way injustice has happened there. Look at the way politics is being played there. Look at the 14 years of exile of Rama. Look at the amount of dharma that is there protected. Therefore, Paaduka Devi's rule has its own uniqueness. Paaduka Devi ruled Ayodhya only for 14 years. But Lord Sri Rama ruled Ayodhya for 11,000 years. Indirectly, Paaduka Devi's rule is much, much superior to Bhagavan Sri Ramachandra's rule itself. It doesn't matter whether Paaduka Devi ruled only for 14 years. To make an impression, Paaduka Devi made a great impression compared to Rama's ruling India for 11,000 years and to establish Ramarajya. What Paaduka Devi could achieve, absolute dharma parirakshana, even Bhagavan Sri Ramachandra could not. Assure that kind of dharma paripadana. That is why dharmam, dharmo rakshati rakshitaha. Dharmam, always think of dharmam, nothing other than dharmam. Vishwam Tvadashtika Padambuja Sambhavayam Yasyam Pratishthitamidam Manipadarakshevem Asidananya Sharana Samaye Yadhavate Sapi Tvaya Vasumati Vihita Pratishta. Another wonderful way of looking at Paaduka Devi. Vishwam Tvat Ashrita Padambuja Sambhavayam. Hey Paaduka Devi, Mani Paadukas, all these were well established on the planet Earth, which is born from the feet of the Supreme Lord Sriman Narayana. Because this Bhudevi, which is born from the feet of Bhagavan Supreme Lord Sriman Narayana, when Paaduka Devi ruled that Mother Earth for 14 years, when Sri Rama was there in the forest, this earth that became unprotected became well protected by you. Bhudevi was not at all protected properly. Then Paaduka Devi got an opportunity to rule Ayodhya. Just a matter of 14 years is enough to establish what dharma should look like. What dharma should look like. Ima, anybody who cannot understand what is dharma, how it should look like? Anyone of you, Ma, if you have a question? So it is very clearly mentioned. It doesn't matter whether Rama ruled Ayodhya for 11,000 years or Paaduka Devi ruled Ayodhya only for 14 years. This Bhudevi, which was considered to be not properly protected all the while, came to be so happy that she is well protected for 14 years by Paaduka Devi. In a way, Mother Earth was unhappy that Bhupati, if Rama gets coronated, he'll be getting the title Bhupati, Bhudevi's Bhakta. Anyway, Bhudevi is the wife of Narayana, that's a different matter. But she wanted to enjoy the company of Rama. But Rama refused coronation. He did not become Bhupati. Rama's Padukas became the king. Padukas got coronated. What Rama could not achieve, Paaduka Devi could achieve. Therefore, Paaduka Devi got all that greatness because of her unimaginable Paratantim. प्रायेण राम विरह व्यजिता तदानीम् उत्सङ्गमश्रितवती तव राज्यलक्ष्मीः तामेव देवी ननुजीवयितुं जलार्द्रम् जलार्द्रम् अङ्गीचकार भवति भरतोपनीताम्. Now another great comparison. Hey Paaduka Devi, the kingdom of Ayodhya was just swooning and fell in your lap because the kingdom could not bear the absence of Rama for 14 years. It is only to revive the kingdom, the Rajya Lakshmi, that is there in an unconscious state because of Rama leaving to the forest. You accepted the fanning with the wet, fragrant roots from the hands of Bharata. When somebody falls down unconscious, what do? You take some water and sprinkle on their face and you fan them. You supply them some air so that they will come back to consciousness. Now, Rajya Lakshmi, the kingdom was there, almost fainting, swooning, because she could not bear the absence of Rama for 14 years. Now, only to revive the kingdom, Paaduka Devi accepted to be the king, sat on the throne, and accepted the fanning with the wet, fragrant roots from the hands of Bharata. I don't know whether you would have known or not. Nowadays we have fans, air conditioners, etc. But in the good olden days in India, they used to make fans with the roots of some kind of a plant. If you sprinkle some water on that and fan it, you will get a very, very pleasant perfume. The roots are very, very aromatic, very pleasant. In Telugu, they call it as Vatti Vellu. It's a kind of root, very thin, maybe 2 or 3 millimeters diameter, 2 or 3 millimeters, long roots. But if you wet them and fan them, you will get a very beautiful fragrance. And Paaduka Devi accepted that fanning because when somebody faints, you sprinkle water and you fan them so that they'll get some oxygen, they'll wake up and they'll get up. So to revive the Bhudevi that was there, the kingdom that was there swooning, Paaduka Devi accepted the fanning on their behalf only to revive the Rajya Lakshmi. Mahatma Deshika's way of thinking is beyond any comparison. In the good olden days, even in the offices, big offices, higher ups will be sitting in their chair and they'll be having only this one big mats made up of these special roots. They sprinkle some water and the servant outside will be just pulling that fan constantly to give that aromated air to the higher officers. Same thing, to revive Mother Earth that was there swooning, Paaduka Devi accepted the fanning, and that too from the hands of Bharata, who was supposed to be the king. Bharata, who was supposed to be the king, just rejected to be the king and accepted to be a servant of Rama, and in the absence of Rama, a servant of his Paadukas. That is real Paratantra. Paaduka Devi's ruling made Bhudevi very happy. Paaduka Devi ruling Ayodhya made even the Rajya Lakshmi very happy. That is the greatness of Paaduka Sama. Go ahead, sir. If you have some questions, please feel free. Ima, no questions, anyone of you?